Big Meech and Rick Ross had a long-standing relationship built on mutual respect. But that all came crashing down when Ross made a shocking statement in a recent interview. When asked who he would rather work with, Big Meech or 50 Cent, Ross didn't hesitate, saying he would pick 50 Cent 1,000 times. That statement sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world, especially considering that Meech had once turned his back on 50 and aligned himself with Ross, even signing under Maybach Music Group, MMG. Feeling betrayed, Meech reportedly went off, cursing Ross out and making it clear that this level of disrespect would not be tolerated. But the real question is, was Rick Ross wrong for saying this, or was he simply keeping it real? Let's break it all down. To understand why Big Meech felt so disrespected, we have to go back in time. Big Meech, the infamous leader of the Black Mafia family, BMF, was not just a street legend, but also a major figure in the rap industry. His influence stretched far beyond the drug empire he built. He had ties to some of the biggest names in hip-hop, and his cosign meant everything in the streets. When Meech got locked up, the industry still kept his name alive, with Rick Ross being one of the most vocal supporters. Ross even dropped the iconic song BMF, Blowin' Money Fast, paying homage to Meech and keeping his legacy relevant in rap culture. At the same time, 50 Cent was working on his own BMF-related project. He took a different route, focusing on telling the story through his BMF television series On Stars. While this show brought even more attention to the BMF legacy, there was tension between 50 and Big Meech's brother, Southwest T, which led some friction between 50 and Meech himself. This was one of the reasons Meech distanced himself from 50 and aligned more with Ross, who was publicly showing love and repping the BMF name in his music. This history is what makes Ross's recent statement so shocking. For years, Meech believed that Ross was someone who genuinely had his back. But for Ross to publicly say he would choose 50 Cent over Meech felt like the ultimate betrayal. To Meech, it wasn't just about music. It was about loyalty. And in the street world, loyalty is everything. So, why would Ross say something like this? The answer might be simpler than it seems. At the end of the day, Rick Ross is a businessman. He knows that aligning with 50 Cent, one of the biggest moguls in the industry, could bring in more opportunities in maintaining loyalty to someone who is currently serving a lengthy prison sentence. From a strategic perspective, Ross might have seen this as a smart move, prioritize his career over old alliances. But from a street perspective, this was an unforgivable act of disloyalty. When Meech heard Ross's words, he didn't hold back. Reports say he went off, cursing out Ross in a rage and making it clear that he would not let this slide. This reaction isn't surprising. Meech has always been known as someone who stands on principle. To him, Ross's comments were not just disrespectful, but a slap in the face after everything they had built together. But was Ross wrong for saying what he said? It depends on how you look at it. If you view it from a business standpoint, Ross might have been making the smarter choice. 50 Cent is one of the most powerful figures in hip-hop and entertainment, with successful ventures in television, liquor, and more. Partnering with him could open doors at Meech from behind bars. Simply can't. However, from a moral and street code perspective, Ross's statement was out of line. He built his brand off of Meech's name, used BMF in his music, and even had Meech's blessing at one point. To turn around and say he'd choose 50 over Meech, especially after Meech distanced himself from 50 for Ross, is a level of disloyalty that can't be overlooked. It makes Ross look like he was just using Meech's name for clout, rather than truly respecting him as a friend and a street legend. One of the biggest questions now is, what happens next? Meech is still behind bars, but his influence in the industry and the streets remain strong. Will Ross try to mend things, or will this be the end of any relationship they had? And how will 50 Cent react to all of this? 50 is known for being petty and strategic. Will he take this as an opportunity to clown Ross, or will he see this as Ross finally coming to his senses and choosing the right side? This situation also raises another question about the industry as a whole. Does loyalty even exist anymore? In a world where money and power dictate most relationships, is it realistic to expect someone like Ross to stay loyal to a street figure who can no longer actively contribute to his career? Or should the culture demand more integrity from artists who profit off the names of real-life figures like Big Meech? One thing is for certain, This situation is not going to die down anytime soon. Big Meech's reaction shows that this was more than just a casual comment to him. He feels betrayed, and if there's one thing we know about Meech, it's that he doesn't take betrayal lightly. Rick Ross might have thought